Jennifer Gates is the eldest daughter of Microsoft founder and billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, who announced their divorce in May 2021. As the child of one of the world's richest people, Jennifer had quite a shadow over her from the start, but she's more than just a wealthy heiress. While you might think that Jennifer Gates' parents had her life mapped out for her, that wasn't the case. Instead, they adopted a strategy of straight-up nurturing. She recalled in an interview with Sidelines, "They've always had my back. When I was younger, they told me to pursue whatever it was I was interested in, whether it was math or science or reading or writing." Additionally, Gates' parents didn't sugarcoat the world and refused to keep her sheltered from the more difficult things in life. Gates said, "As a young kid, they always talked to me like I was an adult and weren't willing to shy around difficult conversations." Not surprisingly, those discussions would have a real impact on Gates later in life. By all accounts, it looks as though Jennifer Gates had a pretty idyllic childhood growing up in Seattle. One major part of that included her love of all things equestrian, which started when she was a young girl. She told Sidelines, "I started riding at the age of 6 when my childhood best friend and I decided we wanted to take pony lessons. A couple years after that, I switched to a barn that introduced me to hunters and jumpers and set me on a more serious path, including introducing me to my current trainer."
But I was just really taken with the relationship that I was able to have with the animals and the connection that you can develop with them.
That's awesome.
Clearly, Gates had a real aptitude for the sport that was evident right away. Interestingly enough, Gates is the only one in her family who got into competitive horseback riding. She said, "But they love being around my horses and riding occasionally for pleasure when we're on vacation. I feel so lucky to have a family that supports me and just wants me to be happy." Given all that Bill Gates accomplished with computers in his time, you may find yourself wondering if he started his kids on screen super early in life. But as he tells it, Jennifer Gates didn't start using computers regularly until she was 10 at school. Bill told an audience in 2007, "Jennifer became very avid and discovered a lot of computer games, including one that runs on the Xbox 360 called Viva Pinata, where you take care of your garden. She could spend 2 or 3 hours a day on this Viva Pinata because it's kind of engaging and fun." In fact, Bill and Melinda set some pretty strict limits on Jennifer's screen time growing up, giving her only an hour on weekend days and 45 minutes on weekdays. He added, "Up to some age to be determined, it's very appropriate for a parent to get a sense of what they're seeing out there and be able to have conversations about it." Bill Gates told the Mirror it was only when Jennifer turned 14 that she was allowed to have a mobile phone, but never at the dinner table. Following in her father's footsteps, when it came time for Jennifer Gates to enter high school, she didn't enroll in public school. Rather, she was one of the lucky 17% of applicants to be admitted to the swanky Lakeside School in Seattle, a private institution near Lake Washington. Fun fact, that's where Bill Gates met Paul Allen, his Microsoft co-founder. According to the school's website, the mission of Lakeside School is to develop in intellectually capable young people the creative minds, healthy bodies, and ethical spirits needed to contribute wisdom, compassion, and leadership to a global society. And you can get all of that as long as you can afford the total cost of over $38,000 per year, as the Gates family obviously could. Attending the Lakeside School clearly worked out for young Jennifer, as it no doubt later helped her get admitted to one of the top universities in the country. After graduating from the prestigious Lakeside School, Jennifer Gates packed up and moved to California. That's where she attended Stanford University. She revealed in a 2016 interview with Horse Network, "I'm studying human biology. I'm really interested in children's well-being, especially here in the United States. I find that fascinating." She added that at the time, she'd just taken a class about children, youth, and the law, which gave her an inside look at both the foster care system and the juvenile justice system in the United States. At the time, Gates was still pursuing her career in horseback riding too, which naturally had her running around quite a bit. She told the outlet, "I'm at Stanford during the week, then horse shows on the weekend. It's a little busy, but I love doing both." Gates graduated from Stanford in 2018. Being born into the Gates family isn't too different from winning the lottery. You have all the money you need and then some, and can pretty much do whatever you want in life. However, that didn't insulate Jennifer Gates from having insecurities, as she did with both her academics and her career in horseback riding. She revealed in a chat with Sidelines, "Everyone struggles with self-doubt or feeling like we're not good enough, all these different things. Self-care is a bit of a buzzword, but for me, it's about doing the internal work and coming to a place where you can accept and love those parts of yourself and really feel whole." Gates also has to work to maintain her mental health, as she's sometimes prone to anxiety. She wrote in a piece for the Chronicle of the Horse, "Mental health and mindset are both super important to me, and I encourage everyone to learn more about yourself and prioritize this. I also meditate and journal regularly." After graduating from Stanford University in 2018, rather than immediately pursue postgraduate work, Jennifer Gates decided to take a year off. But it wasn't to go backpacking through Europe like so many young adults do during their gap year. Rather, Gates had gotten so good at horseback riding that she was performing at an elite level internationally. She told CNN Sport in 2019, "I never knew that I would be competing at this level today. I always thought it would just be a childhood hobby, but I'm so grateful that it still has a place in my life." As for whether or not Gates would continue to ride once she returned to her educational endeavors, she said she'd figure it out as she goes along. She told CNN, "I found that when I was at Stanford, I was able to compete, and I'll just have to play things by ear. But whether I can compete at this level or not, I know that horses will be a huge part of my life." Once Jennifer Gates enjoyed a year of equestrian competition following her tenure at Stanford University, she made the decision to go to medical school. To that end, in 2019, she enrolled at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York City. However, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park for Gates. She shared in an interview with Sidelines, "The first week of medical school, I was so overwhelmed by the amount of content we had that I kind of forgot about my self-care, which has become really important for me. Since then, I've learned to rebalance and make sure I have time for sleep, relationships, exercise, quiet time, all of the fundamentals that help me show up." In February of 2021, Gates updated her social media followers on Instagram, sharing that she was in the midst of her second year of medical school, thanks to a little help she had along the way. She wrote, "I wasn't always convinced I was smart enough to go to medical school, but during my freshman year at Stanford, I was lucky to meet amazing mentors who helped me realize my passion for science and helped me pursue this path." Jennifer Gates' fiancé, Nayel Nassar, is every bit as dreamy as you'd expect. Not surprisingly, he and Gates bonded over horseback riding. She explained in a chat with CNN Sport, "He's a professional, and I do this as an amateur, so to be able to share our love and passion for horses with each other is just incredible." Gates and Nassar took their relationship to the next level in January 2020 when Nassar proposed to Gates on a snowy getaway, as noted by her Instagram page. She wrote in the caption, "Absolutely swept me off my feet this past weekend, surprising me in the most meaningful location over one of our many shared passions. I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives learning, growing, laughing, and loving together. Yes, a million times over." Given that Jennifer Gates is working to become a doctor, a profession known for being demanding both while studying for it and actually doing it, she may find herself with less and less time for other activities. To that end, it's possible that one day Gates will have to give up horseback riding on a competitive level. No matter what happens and however the chips may fall, Gates is sincerely thankful for all that she's gotten out of her equestrian endeavors, telling Sidelines, "I might be too busy someday, or I might make mistakes, but I think that's all part of life and the process." So what are her career goals exactly? She shared in an Instagram post, "I am deeply interested in studying factors that impact children's growth and development, most specifically adverse childhood experiences. Long term, I also hope to contribute by giving people a clear understanding of their conditions and circumstances so they feel supported by medicine and science." In addition to supporting Jennifer Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates have also set a real example of how to move through the world. They could have just sat back and enjoyed all of their money on their own, but instead they decided to become philanthropists. It's no wonder then that they've made a real mark on Jennifer. She explained to CNN Sport, "They've inspired me to be a lifetime learner, but also inspired me to think about ways to give back. That applies to every aspect of Jennifer's life, something that she's both aware of and ready to be responsible for." She told CNN, "I'm incredibly fortunate to have the resources that I do, so whether that's in the equestrian world or in other pursuits, just thinking of ways to help others is a message that I will carry with me forever." Bill Gates is a billionaire more than 100 times over. According to CNBC, the Microsoft mogul's total net worth is at least $134.1 billion, an unfathomable amount of money. However, if you thought that Bill was going to leave all of that money to his children, you'd be sorely mistaken. He told the Daily Mail, "I don't think that amount of money would be good for them. It will be a minuscule portion of my wealth. It will mean they have to find their own way."
Our kids see Bill and I work very hard. We don't have to work anymore. But we do. We work hard every single day.
Some estimate that each child will receive approximately $10 million, which is indeed a lot, but nowhere near even $1 billion. Of course, that inheritance would exclude everything that daughter Jennifer Gates has received thus far. Bill Gates told the tabloid, "They will be given an unbelievable education, and that will all be paid for. And certainly, anything related to health issues we will take care of, but in terms of their income, they will have to pick a job they like and go to work." Fortunately, it looks like Jennifer has all of that on lock. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.